Hello and welcome to Creating with Mrs. C. Today we are going to make a unicorn. To do that, I'm going to start with a circle. You can pick your color of paint that you want your unicorn to be. This is going to be for the body. So right in the center of my canvas, I'm creating a pretty large circle. It's right in the center. It doesn't come anywhere close to the edges of my canvas. And the next thing I'm going to draw is a rectangle, but I would like you to watch me first. So before you paint that rectangle, let's look at where it's going to go. It's going to go on the bottom left of the circle. Notice how it kind of covers that bottom left corner of our circle. The next thing, let's take 2 fingers and place those in the bottom right corner of your canvas like I'm doing. And then mark with your paint. Take 4 fingers at the bottom of the canvas and mark a little spot with paint. And we're going to connect the dots from the head to that spot. And then from this spot to the bottom corner of the rectangle. That's going to be our unicorn's neck. So the next step is just to fill all this area in with paint, and I sped up my camera a little bit so that you don't have to watch me paint for too long. But if you are still painting, I'd like you to pause your video while you paint all this area in. So we're just gonna paint this body, this neck and this head. Take your time, have some fun. Like I said, when I'm done painting, you can pause and keep painting the neck, the head, and the face. So the next thing we're going to do is paint some ears. To do that, I put a triangle and another triangle at the top of the head. We can fill that in with paint too. Awesome. Now let's look at these sharp corners. I rounded them kind of using like half of a circle shape, kind of like the letter C. Even the front of the mouth, I'm just rounding it out a little bit. You can use your paint and let's round out the jaw. So I'm just kind of softening it by making those hard lines a little bit more round. You don't have to do this step if the step's a little bit tricky for you. I'm just rounding out some areas, maybe around the neck. Instead of a hard straight rectangle, I'm softening it a little bit. Check out these ears. I'm drawing a backwards letter C, right from the top of the ear to the bottom of the ear, and then filling that in with paint. That's going to make the ears look a little bit more realistic than just triangles. Okay, even right here, see how I just sloped my paint up a little bit, curving and rounding out some of these hard spots. Now, if you need more paint or an extra layer of paint, you could do that. I'm going to pick a color for my background that is different than my unicorn. So you can pick any color, but I like to use a color that is much different than my unicorn. That way it pops out. So maybe if you have a dark color for a unicorn, you could make a bright, light color background. If you have a white unicorn, maybe you want your background to be a little darker so that it stands out. Notice when I paint my background, I'm staying far away from my unicorn. I am not painting near it because my unicorn is still pretty wet. So when I start painting, I just went left, right, and painted this background, staying as far away from that unicorn as I could. I got a smaller brush, and now my purple paint is all dry. So I'm going to start painting a little bit closer to it. And And I'm still using that technique of going left to right as I paint. Kind of outlining a little bit closer to my unicorn. Now the hair on its back, or on its neck, I'm going to be painting that, so I'm not too worried about painting very close to the back of the neck. The rest of my unicorn, I am painting pretty close to the body. You don't have to get right on the line. You can get kind of close. It doesn't have to touch exactly. If you get a little bit of your unicorn's paint on your brush, that's okay. You can just clean it off, use a paper towel and dry it off, and then keep painting. So for the hair, pick any color you want. I picked red to start, and I'm going to make one little dot in the bottom left corner of the ear and the bottom left corner of this ear, just like this. You can pause this so you can paint those two little spots yourself, and then connect those dots with a rainbow. This is going to be your unicorn's bangs, so you can turn this into, maybe there's the letter V down here for the hair, or you want to make your bangs maybe up in the sky. You can draw your hair however you like. You can come back to this later and work on the bangs, because I want to show you how to make the hair down the neck. So I start with a backwards letter C. Let's check out this example right here to see what the letter C kind of looks like backwards. At the bottom of this letter C, I'm going to paint a diagonal line. Okay? This is again just one way to paint hair. So I'm going to thicken that line up, and that could be all that I paint for the first part of my hair. You could keep the same paint, or you could change your color of paint. Now I painted with yellow, but then I decided I wanted to paint orange, so I just painted right over it. And that's what's fun about paint. You can change your mind and just paint over things if you want. To make this next little bump of hair, I made the letter C, the diagonal line, and then I painted a line that went back up. Notice that it looks kind of like a cone. I'm going to show you how to do this again. So I made the letter C, a diagonal down, and then a diagonal up. If your paint mixes a little bit because maybe you're using more than one color, that might happen. You could clean your brush off if it starts to mix, or maybe you like how it mixes. That's up to you. So one more time, let's see. Backward C, a diagonal down, and another diagonal down. Kind of creates, looks like an ice cream cone a little bit, right? So I'm going to paint that teardrop shape. I'm going to pick a new color. This magenta is kind of pretty. Making a backward C, kind of like a little rainbow, and the letter V. You could even tell yourself backward C, letter V as you paint. Again, maybe your hair doesn't look like this. I'm excited to see what your pictures look like. Maybe you'll make a pattern with this hair or change colors. The sky is the limit. I use orange or red again, backward C and a letter V, just filling that in. Now you might need a second coat of paint, so feel free to paint over your background again. You could paint over your hair again, maybe even your unicorn. If you're seeing through it, you could paint over that again. That's up to you. Take your time. You can always pause this and keep painting. Now it is time for the unicorn horn. To do that, I'm going to make a little dot right at the bottom of the ear and a dot in the top corner of the canvas. another dot on the other side of this ear. So as you can see, I'm connecting the dots. So one dot on each end of the ear connected to this little dot in the top corner of my canvas. Basically, you're painting a triangle on the top of your unicorn's head. You might want to use one color or a bunch of colors. Maybe you'll make a rainbow unicorn horn. I used gold for mine, but you could use any color. The next thing I'm going to do is outline my unicorn. I'm not going to outline the whole thing yet. Some of my unicorn is still wet. So as it dries, I'm using a skinny brush. I'm using black paint and I'm just painting the face and the front of the unicorn. So as my hair dries, I'm just going to leave the hair and the ears be for now. You could use any color to outline. You could also use a Sharpie once your painting is dry, or maybe you don't want to outline your unicorn at all. That is absolutely okay. I'm also going to make a little black circle in the front of this unicorn's nose. Next, I made a little mouth. You could draw that any way you like. The same for your eye. You could put a little circle or a dot. I'm going to make a rainbow. You could also add some eyelashes, which are just some curved lines to one side. It's up to you. The background is also up to you. You could make stripes back here, stars, circles, spirals, anything you like. I am creating stars by making little plus signs all over the background. Just a line that is sideways and a line that is up and down to make these little plus signs all over the place. I'm using a skinny brush, and on top of all of these plus signs, I'm going to draw the letter X. So that X will go right through the plus signs to make a star shape. So diagonal and a diagonal, diagonal and a diagonal to create this star look. You could make polka dots back here, maybe zigzag stripes. You could even leave it with just one solid color. That would be beautiful. Be creative with your background. I could leave it like this, but I just wanted to make a few little spots. So I made a little dot here and there, trying to fill in all the empty space surrounding my unicorn. Now that I have spent some time painting my background, the rest of my painting is dry enough that I can outline it now. So I'm going to outline the ears, and the hair. I am also going to outline this unicorn horn, taking your time. And to create some lines on the horn, I'm just going to draw the letter U, a curved line, just trying to repeat that curved letter U shape all the way down. My favorite part about unicorns is their uniqueness. They are so different, and I hope your painting is different than mine and is unique and beautiful too.